Live.
Yes,
Action.
sir.
Yes, sir. Oh, man. And we're back on the mic. Got Dr. Pooch.
Yeah.
Got Brother Abdul. Let's get it cracking.
Yeah.
Let's open it up in prayer, bro.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Position of prayer. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Irrahmanirrahim. Malik Yawmuddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yulad wa lam yulad wa lam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad. Ameen. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right, so I guess we're jumping right into Squid Game.
Okay, yeah, Squid Games, Squid Games.
And I know absolutely nothing. I just know it's Korean, right? Is that accurate?
I believe so. I'm not. He probably know better than me.
Yeah.
All right. But it's actually the highest watched. I believe also the highest grossing film that Netflix has ever produced.
Oh my God.
I think over 111 million subscribers tuned into it. I mean, even that number right there. I keep seeing 111s everywhere. The bus that come past my job is 111, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's a whole numerology
Look at the time.
thing.
Look at the time right now, bro.
It's 11:01. See, I say that's the God. I'm telling you,
That's the God.
Yeah, that's angel nut, bro.
Bruh.
It's crazy that right.
That number hit me today too.
Wow.
With the story that I was telling you earlier.
man.
It was dude's 11th piece.
The artist?
Yeah.
Word.
He said he felt compelled to do an 11th piece.
Right.
And then I had to meet up with him.
Okay, understood.
It's that synchronicity, right? So,
Yeah, okay.
It's that doorway, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The infinite potential. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's set up. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
if you
also,
go
like,
through.
all of our careers, what we're doing, we all on the cusp, bro. You with yours, with mine. We all on the cusp.
They say coincidences are God's way of staying anonymous.
That's cold, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But going back to the Squid Games, right?
Yeah.
The polarity of the movie with life, because people don't think that their life is on the line going to work every day, but those people was going to work putting their life directly online, like they might have got shot, they might have fell to their death, they might have, whatever. If they lost the game, they was getting killed.
Yeah, but all of those people were doing that out of desperation, though. And there wasn't nobody really doing that like, okay, this is my 9 to 5. They were all severely in debt. They were targeted people
Right.
for a certain cause. So that's like, you know what I mean?
So are we targeted by corporations before we're even born, and when we're born, are we put into a system until we die?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
And then Monday mornings is when people have the most heart attacks and the most car accidents.
Facts.
And so people are racing towards their death because they're living in a situation of desperation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just not as drastic and immediate as the situation of the people that's inside of this show.
I mean, okay.
So it's a game show?
No, it's not a game show, but it's a show that's basically like Hunger Games on steroids.
Sounds dope.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, my child's principal sent a letter to or a mass email to all the parents and said, do not allow your kids to watch this show, Squid Game. right? Bro, what most people don't realize, entertainment is not just entertainment. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, this is like a mass, like once mass consciousness accepts something or thinks about something, then things happen because thoughts are things.
It becomes a part of the collective agreement.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So imagine the sick part of that. Like, that's
Right.
the most watched show.
Right.
Dave Chappelle, people don't want to laugh. They want to think that they're in a prison and part of a sick, twisted game with some billionaires.
But
that
think
are
about
just
what's
like,
going on right now,
You know what
though.
I'm saying? It's exactly what's going
Think
on
about
right now.
the
And that's why
inoculation.
maybe it's exactly what's going
to
on
where
right now.
to where people would strongly tell you that you're putting their life at risk by not getting the jab and not being inoculated with these foreign substances
Yeah.
that don't have any long-term test trials. So they're putting their life on the line.
Except
Yeah.
there's no cash prize.
Well, no, well, hold on.
The
There's
Squid Game, there was a cash prize.
Bro, no.
A very big cash prize.
There's Vax lotteries out there.
Oh, that's true.
At my job, there's a nominal fee that they give people to get vaxxed, right?
Damn.
You're not gonna
they
become
give it
no
out $250.
millionaire.
No, we ain't coming no millionaire,
Okay.
right? Some people though in the lotteries they had like 20 million in the lottery,
Yeah.
right? And that it was gonna be 20
Man.
winners, and each person, even though $1 million will make you rich, you know what I mean, especially after taxes and everything else, you ain't even gonna have $1 million. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But these incentives that they put out there
Yeah.
to catch, but that shows us, right? If these people were willing to put their life on immediate risk, right, for all of this money
The people on Squid Games?
in Squid Games,
Yeah.
and these people are putting their lives at risk.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem immediate because they're blocking the real numbers of really what's going on. Most people not
on
dying.
Squid Games, that's what I'm saying. Those people were desperate and in debt. So they.
But these
almost
people
like-
are desperate too, bro.
They desperate, bro.
These people are desperate to go back to their so-called normal lives, and their normal lives was slavery too.
Yeah.
This is just a whole nother level.
Valid points, man. I'm loving it. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm just saying because think about it, right? They say that if first of all they use the term herd, and herds are animals.
Yeah.
You herd cattle, you herd sheep, you herd whatever, horses, right?
Yeah.
So they're telling us if enough of you animals, you human animals, if enough of us get inoculated, right, then we'll gain herd immunity. but yet they don't have enough research to even understand the exact effects of what is going inside of you, so that it's like a guesstimate. First they told you if you get it, you would never get C-19 again, right?
Yeah.
But then after they realized that people was getting it, which they probably already knew from the jump street, because what's also in it, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to speculate, but I believe it's something else in it. I don't know exactly what it is, and we're going to find out, right?
Yeah.
But the secondhand smoke that comes with the firsthand smoke, right, has yet to be seen, right? But once that comes, I forget my damn point. I'm trying to get back to it in my head.
Yeah.
You were talking about the ingredients and
Herd immunity.
Oh, herd immunity.
Yeah,
Right. So they're telling us they don't know. They're speculating. They said one thing at first, and then they're saying something else again. The people that's protected we got to get the people that's not protected to protect the people that's protected. So because the protection didn't work for the people that was protected. So it's like, all right. So how you gonna tell me that once everybody get protected, that herd immunity could even manifest itself? And now Pfizer is saying it's something we're gonna live with for years, and they saying you're gonna have to get a booster shot every 6 months. So if you got to get a booster shot, if we get herd immunity by 90% plus more getting this, right, then why would we need a booster shot? Because if we get herd immunity, we wouldn't need a booster shot.
Right. Well, all of this is about transhumanism. So let's get to the point of it. You know what I'm saying?
Go on.
Like, none of it makes sense. The science doesn't really make
You want to go straight to it.
Straight to it. Because we can't,
No building to our go ahead. Transhumanism.
because we dance around topics and we've now seen that
We trying to make it good and juicy for people that's listening. But I
yeah,
understand.
but none of it makes sense, bro.
Right.
We've
No,
had
it don't.
19
Right.
months of lockdown.
Right.
We've had 19 months of just, pure nonsense. Pure one.
Logic out the window nonsense.
No, you don't need
Completely out the
masks.
window.
Then yes, you do need masks.
Right.
No mandates will never happen. Yes, now mandates are.
Yeah.
We won't need further lockdowns. Yes, we're going to have, further lockdown. Like we've seen them just wish-wash, whatever is convenient for the time being. Like that's what they've said. So like, let's get straight to the point because they're obviously just buying time and saying whatever they want to say.
Yeah.
For you know what I'm saying? It's so let's get straight to the point of like keep our eye on the prize. I've been saying this for a long time. Keep your eye on the prize. Like this is about transhumanism.
Okay.
But it's also right. It's definitely about transhumanism, but it's also these people do multiple things at the same time to accomplish multiple goals.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? So one of the other parts of this whole thing is a huge experiment to see how far people will follow you outside of logic and how much you can continuously change the narrative and people will go along with this.
Yeah.
Because as you say, transhumanism, as you say, artificial intelligence and what is it? Singularity. When machines quote unquote become smarter than the people that actually created them and they're able to tap into the internet and all learn from each other's experience, and then at that point they won't need human beings. I've read articles where they're talking about the next age workforce will be a workforce combined with robots and human being supervision, and that robots will actually vie for natural resources to where they'll accomplish goals and tasks excluding human beings on their own, and they'll just go and get their own resources to actually do it, but they'll solve the problems of human beings. And then they say, universal basic income. So universal basic income, they no longer need the work of human beings, right? So why do they need human beings? It's the same thing because the white man has a certain level of toxicity in his design into his system, and it is not equipped to sustain 7, 8, 9, 10 billion people. Because it's like, how can you continuously have everybody pumping out greenhouse gases, 8 billion people on the planet? People didn't understand that the reason why there's a third world, because it has to be a balance. If the whole world is quote unquote the first world, then the world would cease to exist in like 5 years. And what we see, they would have to burn down and use all of the fossil fuels. They would have to use all of the trees. Everything would go. So the white man now is saying that, okay, we can replace human beings with robots and artificial intelligence. The people who are left, we can give you a universal basic income. And how do we do this?
This is how one of my elders like kind of broke it down to me last night. We were talking.
Where?
He said
RR?
Nah.
Okay, another thing.
He said they just like the games we're talking about, the Squid Games. These it's not about race anymore. That's what people have to understand. It's not about race. You know what I'm saying? Because there's devils in every race. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Every race. So the fact that these billionaires are playing games and they have basically all rights over us, like they've accomplished everything. It's not about power anymore. We could say like, well, is it about power? Is it about this? Is it about that? Like they've accomplished all of that. So now, really, what is it that they want? Because they have all the money, they have all the resources, they have all the you know what I'm saying. So like now, really, what do they want from us? Well, they want your soul.
They want overt domination, control, complete.
They want your
domination.
soul.
Okay.
They want your soul.
Understood.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Transhumanism. So like to to your point, like so transhumanism, that merging of man and machine. Like there's a
That's what transhuman. That's the
Yes.
definition.
the
Yes.
merging of
Yes.
man and machine.
Understood.
There's a dude named Ray Kurzweil. Kurzweil used to do all those synthesizers, like all the 70s like synthesizers. They're the Kurzweil. KUR.
Oh, you talking about the pianos, right?
pianos, the synthesizers.
The first
Synthesizer
one.
piano.
The first one. I think.
Kurzweil.
What's the name of the blind singer was the first dude?
Stevie Wonder?
Stevie Wonder, the first dude to really use him in his music.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those and that changed music because it became more digital. It became,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Literally changed the sound of music.
Artificial.
Right. That dude, Kurzweil, wrote several books. One in called The Age of Spiritual Machines.
So couldn't that necessarily be considered like the first phase of transhumanism? Because the relationship between instrument, musician, and the ears, right? In that the drums being made from
Training
animals
us to love this
Right.
this frequency
Right.
and this
Right.
and this unnatural like
Right.
resonance, like
Right.
the Rockefellers like changed the music. What was it?
The key?
Like the frequency. The
Oh, you talking about the hertz? Yeah.
Hertz of it,
When they
you know?
when they
440
mix down the music,
Right.
They keep it on a destructive frequency, and when you hit water with a frequency, it changes the molecules in it on like a subatomic level.
That part.
And knowing that human beings are 70 to 85% water, and your
That
brain sits on cerebral spinal fluid, so when it gets hit with certain frequencies, now it's changing you on a molecular level that you couldn't even really see unless you examine it at a very small level. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So basically, my point is, the elder was saying, now they want your soul. So to accomplish this, they have to eliminate the spirituality because it's all technical. It's all outside of yourself. You know what I mean? It's a world of technology, which is somewhere it's their form of spirituality almost. You see what I'm saying? A form of spirituality, like, because now we're talking about transferring consciousness. You know, the head of Google
Right.
is at the forefront of this.
You talking about transferring consciousness
into
into a machine.
No, well,
into
into a machine or
into the cloud.
Into a cloud, then into another cloned body.
Right.
So that body now lives forever. So now this is like the like Thoth in the pyramids, regenerating himself and coming back generation after generation.
That's one of the ways. But they're also creating mechanical lungs, mechanical hearts, and also the ability to clone you, to basically just clone you for your own lungs and hearts, so you'll be a perfect match
to regenerate yourself. Yeah.
Right. And if the physical part of you dies, then that version of you in the cloud can be downloaded into another version of you, if you can afford this technology. But see, I actually beg to differ about wanting the soul. I think they already have the soul, right? I think they don't have the soul 100% oppressed. And every once in a while, there are individuals that get around the programming. I think it's like a prison.
We just opened up with a prayer, like they obviously don't have the soul of humanity. Like they, you know what I'm saying? They're almost at a.
Let me finish my point before you rebuttal.
Go ahead.
I understand what you're saying, but so in Freemasonry, right? They say, I got you before your feet even touch the ground. And when you look at your original birth certificate, it has your feet on it, not the little small one, the big one. It has your feet and it has your handprints on it, right? So they got you before you hit the ground. And they say the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. The Jesuits said, you give me a child up until the age of 7, 8, or 9, I'll show you that man, they'll never depart from their ways. In the New World Order book by E. Ralph Epperson, he said one of the things that's going to change, which really had already changed, is that the state will raise your children, but it'll be more direct. You see children, they hopping on iPads, they hopping on iPhones. They're being guided by technology and information. You got to work so much that you're not even around them to really influence them as much as you normally would, right? Mm-hmm. So when I say that they have possession of the soul, but the soul is able to escape out of the cell because the cell is an artificial cell that they have to have access to your mind, right, in order for you to be in that cell. Because all of us have been trapped and locked down inside of our own consciousness until we elevated our consciousness. We were able to get out of the programming, and in certain instances, we're still trapped in the programming, trying to get out over here when we got out over here, and over here. You know what I mean? So it's so many layers to this thing, right? So the reason why I say I agree with you, it is about the soul, but it's about, see, they said in Congress, I forget the congressperson said, he said, we have shut down almost every avenue of light that can come to the Negro's soul or mind. Yeah. Right? Until but they underestimated Garvey, they underestimated Noble Drew Ali, they underestimated Master Farrar Muhammad, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, Farrakhan, and anybody else that has the ability to unlock. They underestimated God.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And ultimately, now they're in a position to where the only thing that can stop them is God.
Right.
Yeah.
You feel me? So this is a challenge to God.
Yes, sir.
Come out of your hiding place. But in the Holy Quran, it says that he gives every nation a peep in the heavens that he's about to destroy. He makes them arrogant.
Yeah.
He doesn't destroy them when they insecure, when they weak. He destroys them at the zenith of their power.
Yeah.
They know this.
So let me throw this in there.
Throw it in the pot, baby.
Man, because I've been seeing this a lot in our community. I've been seeing it a lot with brothers, and it's been a recurrent conversation. This self-destructive, self-sabotaging mentality and attitude. And so America might be suffering from the same complex where it's almost self-sabotaging, and she's now so arrogant and so blasphemous. Now she's like, well, God, come and get me, right?
Nah, for real.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for real. Yeah, that's the attitude.
On some real. And,
right.
and many nations, like, around the world. Like, it's really like worldwide type of situation. But here's another thing in the mix. There are volcanoes erupting all around the world right now.
Facts. Tell me about that. Yeah.
Facts.
Yes, sir.
Like, these are really the times that, we have to read the holy books and understand, like, what's really real. Like, bro, these times are amazing.
Yeah.
Yes,
they are.
And God will take his people and take other people away and replace them, like he said, like he's done countless times, bro. Yeah. So, the people really have to take heed to what's going on, man. These are incredible, incredible times.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
If I can camel back off of what you said, so the scientists have tracked that the earth oscillates or has like a heartbeat, right? Yeah. It's
Schumann resonance.
Well, not necessarily human, but it's
the Schumann resonance.
Yes, exactly. It's alive. It's a live organism that appears to be a bunch of organisms on top of it, but it's actually one thing. Yeah. Right. And so any living entity has an immune system.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? It has a way to clean its system up. Right. Right. And we know that on a molecular level, on a subatomic level, there is no separation from anything that we see.
Facts.
This table is not solid. The laptop is not solid. Yeah. There's no disconnection between me and you. None. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at the word Allah, the Arabic word for God, it has all. All is the first part of the word. All.
Yes, sir.
And the one God. And then you go to the Bible and say, ye are God's children of the Most High God. This connection. And in everything you see, all of these connections. We see trees kind of look like the nerve cells, or even the placenta. You know what I mean? We see our hands look like, leaves, kind of like, you know what I mean? And it's so many of these representations that everything is actually one. It's just different different ways of expressing itself that makes it look separate.
It's the fractal universe.
Right. So going back to the main point that I was making is that since the earth itself is a living entity with living entities on top of it that actually are a part of it, it knows. When God created this planet, God created a turnkey operation. Life is a business. Just like when you go to McDonald's and you start working there, they say, look, you drop the fries for this long. You put 2 pieces of pickles on there. You put 1 slice of cheese. You cook the burger for 2 minutes and you flip it, and then boom, you serve it to the person. And in 2.5 minutes, they got it wrapped up in their hand. It's a turnkey operation. Life is a turn. All of this mystery, God is sprinkling blessings and stopping. Yeah, God has an active will and he has a permissive will, but to be honest, a lot of this stuff is on turnkey. It's happening based upon the initial act of creation, and his plan was so smooth that it's just transitioning over the course of time. And for us, it's a long time. For the creator, it's just like a blip. It's a blip. We're taught in the Nation of Islam that what we see today, the expression of white people, was actually a fractal a gene that was inside of us called the brown germ, and we manifested it in a form of white people to teach us a lesson and to permanently extract it out of ourselves. So now we're at the climax of this story. Of the end of the rule of the wicked, and like you said, the wicked come in all shapes, forms, sizes, colors, and shapes, genders, and that are binary and non-binary. I just wanted to throw that in there. You know what I'm saying? But so since that's occurring, the earth itself is targeting what is destructive on it. And some of us is going to get caught in the mix. Some of the righteous will get, or the self-proclaimed righteous will get caught in the mix. Some of the pure, the Bible says that innocence will suffer for the greater good, right? We think it's sad. We think it's bad that people like Nipsey got, taken out, Kobe or whatever, or whoever we thought was actually good, for the community, right? That got taken out. But the reality is it's a part of the ultimate divine plan.
Yes, sir.
These people are extracting out of us and making us understand that the world itself, the major burden is selfishness, wickedness, nationalism, all of these things that separate human beings and that ultimately lead to our destruction. This would be the ultimate case study and basic trauma to keep us on path to being righteous. Because it's like, well, we remember what happened 500 years ago. That was happening for 6,000 years that didn't profit humanity. We would never allow that to happen again.
Well, I'll tell you, man, these are like unique times, man. I see right now, which our media isn't showing at all. Like they're painting a picture that everything is, honky dory and real rosy.
It's a podcast,
but people are rioting in France. People are rioting in Spain. People are rioting in Israel. People are right.
Damn.
Exactly. Like,
damn.
Who would have thought? Like,
who would have thought?
You know what I'm saying? Like, all around the world. So, what I've seen, like, and there's a spirit. Like, okay, so I was doing this event. It's called what is it? Conscious Life Expo. Anyway, it was a couple weekends ago at LAX Hilton. So I'm like doing this event, all through the weekend, and I meet, great people, like great communities, going outside of my community and just meeting, bunch of different people. So I ended up like getting a gig, like, or getting the invitation to go to the OC, right? Mm-hmm. So, OC is, nothing but white folks, right? So, I go over there. The dude, like, he's, they're giving a class. The dude is talking about like the whole endocannabinoid system and, like teaching the whole course. I'm like, oh, snap. Okay. They're going in. Okay. So then, just listening to like the information that's there. And, they gave me a platform to speak and all of that. But there was this one older white dude, long hair, like, cool cat. So he said, he was like, we're talking about the world situation. He was like, yeah, they're not human. That's why. Oh. And I was just laughing because, a lot of, like within this, black conversation and all of that, like even me, like being half black, half white or whatever, like I question, like, damn, like, man, like what's going on with white folks? Like, why are they, you know what I'm saying? But even within, I think white folks have been hijacked themselves, bro. Even within white folks, there's a category of white folks that are different. Like, there's a spirit that's in, like what this dude said. Like, he's a white, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, pink, okay? Yeah. He's like, but in his spirit, he knows that the people that are doing this are not human. Though they may be in the same flesh and they may look like him, like there's something different. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
About these ones.
Yeah. So even like, like Sheikh Anta Diop, we were talking about him, like he has that theory that, Africans came from, the Grimaldi man, and like one was, caught up and there was a genetic mutation that came, however that came about, like however, the different races, they obviously came from blacks, like they obviously came from inside of, that, the black man, the black woman, you know what I'm saying? So like that, So it's just, my point is just that it's just a reflection, and that spirit is still residing inside of the full range of color scheme of humanity. And I'm like, knowing this, learning this myself, like really like reminding myself, because a lot of that narrative is like, oh, these white people don't have no spirit, or like you hang around, certain communities too much and it's like, oh, the white, you know what I mean? But it's like there are, even though, a white person could never understand, even my own mother could never understand the visuals of like what it means to vibrate at this skin color in this world. You know what I mean? Like there's certain things that they'll just never understand. Yeah. But there's still a spirit of righteousness and God that moves through. You know what I mean? Like so we have to like, I'm just saying this to elevate the conversation and really change the narrative, because like right now humanity has to work together to overthrow this spirit of wickedness that wants to imprison and it's like keeping us a part of this game. Like
let me interject. Mm-hmm. What this sickness is that usurped quote unquote like lower white people who were lower on the totem pole, right? Because really white is actually a caste system in of itself. Race was used to divide, separate, and control. Now, the difference in physical appearance based upon skin tone is obvious, is real, but wasn't something that was used as a way to politically divide people, right? Obviously, when Caucasians came into Africa after forgetting that we had actually put them into the caves and hills of Europe, and they went savage, and they found that their way to Africa, they realized like, damn, there's a huge difference between us in them, and the natural inclination in them at that time, coming from a caveman type of mentality, a desperate type of mentality, was to have that Viking. Some people say it was Black Vikings and all that, but that's what they painted themselves as: Vikings, barbarians. So from a historical standpoint, I'm gonna go with their version of the story, which was to maim, pillage, rape, and murder as opposed to humble yourself. Now, when we come up to the modern context, because once you get knowledge and once you get information and once you get resources, it can humble you. Or not necessarily humble you, it can soften you. You know what I mean? To where you're not as harsh, you're not as violent, you're not as whatever. But those who have to maintain this system of white supremacy that was created to keep white people on top when they really didn't belong on top, because naturally they come from a weaker standpoint. They come from a weaker standpoint genetically. They come from a weaker continent that doesn't have an overabundance of natural resources, right? So, and this is the harsh truth that a lot of people don't want to come to the realization of, is that black people didn't have to use no damn law of attraction and work hard and do this and do that for wealth, because the wealth was right there underneath our feet. Yes, that is a concept created by Europeans in order to get what they got. They had to work extremely hard to tame the land and tame people that they came in contact with that had resources that they didn't have, right? So now what we have is groups of white people that don't want to be associated with that past, that don't want to be associated with that going into the future, but they have to do the internal work to drop the subconscious white supremacist patterns that have been conditioned in them for thousands of years. And when they became almost in total control of this country for the past few hundred years, that are now a part of their genetics through what's called epigenetics, these genes have been activated. And this is why when you talk about race in America, there's this almost universal response when it comes to whites who are sensitive towards that subject. Oh, my mom never taught me to hate. My parents never taught me to hate. I don't see color, but yet you know the color that you have on right now. I understand what you're saying. They use like that Martin Luther King narrative. I judge people by the content of their character, but then at the same time, we see these pseudo or soft racist things that they do that they don't really understand what they do. I had a white person, you got to teach me. And he was really genuine and serious about it, right? Yeah. But it's not my job to teach you.
Yeah, but you as a black person could never, like, or as a melanated person, whatever, would never understand the reality of walking this world as a white male or a Chinese male, or, you know, each race will never.
I beg to differ. I can't know what it is to walk this world as a Asian male, but the immense interactions between blacks and whites in this country, right? I think that we know them more than anybody knows them, and they know us.
Yeah, but that's what
they know the effect that they've had on us more than anybody else knows. And this is why they don't want to have the conversation, most of them.
I think, well, okay, like, I think racism has been Facts. A tool that has been invented by these billionaire psychopaths who have always wanted to control the world from very, very, very way back. So white supremacy,
we agree on that.
Okay,
yeah. So hold on. But they engaged in it. No matter who created it, by default. By choice.
No, because
by choice.
Because okay, but
hold on.
Let's give historical reference. Okay. Because, like, let's say, for example, the early whites that came to America. Okay, there was a history.
Praise be to Allah on Netflix.
Praise be to what?
I said praise be to Allah. Somebody said something on my live. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I was saying, like, let's say like the Irish, for example, mm-hmm. or the Slavs, who, you know, that means that's where slave comes from. Mm-hmm. Like those were whites, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The word slave comes from Slavs, like they were the slaves of Europe and you know, Arabs, Middle East, and, you know, just different, like, places. They used to, like, enslave them.
Understand?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So or enslave them, you know.
Yeah.
So let's say the Irish, like, the that's the niggers of Europe, right?
Yeah.
That's the, to use a term. When they came to America, they were indentured, servants. Like they were the poor whites. They were treated just as bad.
They weren't treated just as bad, but they were treated bad.
They were treated bad. They were treated, like animals. You know what I'm saying?
But
probably not just as bad.
They weren't stripped of their name, their language, their culture. They weren't raped, murdered, and pillaged for everything that they had, including their soul and their self-worth. That did not happen.
Collectively, absolutely.
They were treated bad. They were second-class citizens while we were fifth-class citizens. You know what I mean? So well, we weren't even citizens actually.
No.
Facts. I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying like that's just we're all like, because we started off with Squid Games. Okay,
right.
These are billionaire psychopaths wearing masks and frolicking and all types of sexual deviancy and all. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like
absolutely.
this is that mentality. Okay,
Right.
Pure trickery, pure like you saw it.
Technology.
Pure trickery.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sick, twisted plots.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is this whole industry of racism was a tool of these psychopaths for a certain result.
Correct.
Now, by default, we're still living in the racism that once existed and was once like backed by laws and all of that no longer serves its purpose socially. So that has been eliminated by design. And now we're in a new phase.
It's an evolution.
Though it still exists, we're in a different phase of this social climate of you know what I'm saying, white dominance, or not, I wouldn't say white dominance. It's although it is with the underlining tone of like, they still dominate, but it's more so like the billionaire class, like you said earlier, those who can afford to live in this new world that we're living in, those who can afford to have multiple lives and buy multiple bodies and transfer consciousness multiple times, like it's a different type of world of like aristocrats, and you know what I'm saying, like that they're forming. So that's really what it's always been about. It's not really been about race. That's just been the underlining game to like pin nations against nations, because the African kings were doing business with the Europeans, and you know what I'm saying? It was about business at the end of the day, and they understood that the Egyptians, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, like they understood this shit. Like so what I'm saying is to just make my point, and you could go ahead or reiterate it, like all this shit is by default, this racism, and like still like the whites culture like still brewing in this, and I understand like the epigenetical like influence of that perpetuating itself within our culture, but like that isn't by their genetic code, like that's by a social design that was made for us.
So we believe in the Nation of Islam, right? Now the founder of the Nation of Islam, Master Farad Muhammad, right, who we believe was God in person, not as person, right? There's a huge difference, right? So he taught the most honorable Elijah Muhammad that through the grafting process, or through what would you call it, selective breeding, came about white people, right? The fact this and also every other group of people that we see on this planet, Asians, Japanese, and whites, right? So, and then everybody else is just a mixture, of those. I'm not gonna get into that, but anyway. So ultimately, the way they came into existence was being told that they were better than the darker, right? And then they didn't even have to even be told that, because they went savage in the caves and in the hills. They lost their language. They lost any type of civilization that they had, right? So when they came out of the cave, they didn't even speak a language. They were walking on all fours. Some of them were growing tails, and some of them still grow tails today, and some of them have very extremely furry bodies. When they came into contact with us, right? You have to understand something. If all you have is the reference of you, right? You live in a cold world, like a cold world. The climate is cold. The environment is cold. You got wild animals attacking you. You had to become best friends with a canine in order to be protected and warned that there were wild animals coming for you in the middle of the night because you lived in a cave. And then when you stumbled upon people who lived in a humid, tropical environment that had more food than they could eat, that had wealth, that had plush structures and civilization, and they were educated, and they had everything that you didn't have. And there's two things that a person can do, and it's based upon their character and that type of situation. They could be humble and come and ask and say, could you please possibly help me? I see you got a surplus. You see I'm hungry. I'm starving, right? Can you give us assistance and aid? They didn't do that. What they did was they saw that black men had elongated penises compared to them. They saw that black women physically were more aesthetically pleasing than white women, right? So it struck a sense of, oh, there's a difference. It's like when Adam and Eve in the Bible realized they was butt ass naked. When they realized, right, once they ate the metaphorical fruit of knowledge and wisdom that so-called put them on the level of God, right? So at that point, they realized that they were different, and they themselves felt inferior, because a white supremacy is a lie. It's a joke. It doesn't exist, but it's real in the minds of the people globally, right?
Yes, sir.
But the reality is it's the biggest hoax ever, and black inferiority is the biggest hoax too. And they're just antonyms on two polar opposite sides of the scale. But it's an insecure position, because if you're better, if you're supreme or superior, then your works naturally will show that you are.
Yes, sir.
So it's a sign of what is at the core of their relationship between us. It's not confidence, it's insecurity. We have to continuously oppress them. So when we talk about the fact that people from Poland, Slovakians, Irish people, and these other classes of white people who were not considered to be on the in crowd of white, because you got to remember the groups that were going around conquering the known world were the Portuguese, the British, French, Spain,
Western Europeans.
Right. They were when Britain said the sun never sets on his empire, it was bragging to France and them. Y'all ain't got as much as we got. It was bragging to Spain and Portugal and all that. They was having a competition. And remember the Berlin Conference, when they carved up Africa, it ain't had nothing to do with the Polish. It had nothing to do with the Slovakians. It had nothing to do with the people from Turkey, right? It was those major, I hate to say major, those more dominant in oppression European nations that came together to do what they did. So when they told the Irish, because you got to understand, like, white supremacy, to tell them that they were better, first they had to paint Jesus from black to white, right? Then they had to tell them that they were better than black people, but it was already animosity between us and them. I mean, because they recognize.
Not really, bro. Like,
okay,
not
okay. So
not really,
show me this time where there was peace. Because even before,
let me show you.
Hold on. Even before they got to America and did what they did. The Moors
Exactly. That's
brought
exactly what I'm
them
gonna bring up.
right, but they don't even recognize that the first kings after the so-called Dark Ages were black. They don't recognize that those
black or more.
those they hide it, and they hid it before they even came over here.
So yeah, but you're talking about today. You're looking through at history through the lens of today, and you're looking at white history through the lens of through this racist lens, and that's what I'm saying. Like this.
So how should I look at it?
This lens of what we've been taught that it's us and them, and you know what I mean. Like that's the divide and conquer that our world is thriving on. You know what I'm saying?
I think you misinterpret my point. My point is that we do that we do have to work together, right? And that we do have a mutual cause, which is to escape a mass extinction and a mass reset where majority of the people are going to have to die unless we work together collectively, because they're pushing it to that level. But we have to live in reality. We cannot brush off history. We cannot brush off the times that we live in, because see, in order to heal, you got to keep it real.
Yeah, that's true.
So let me speak to your point. So you said there's not been a time where white culture has venerated black or so-called black people or melanated people, and I said that that's false, because in the Moors, the black Moors, and all it, like there was even a style of art and little pieces, little like medallions and earrings and jewelry pieces that were of black royalty in Europe, and this used to be the highest fashion. That was like the FUBU or the what I'm saying, of the day. That was the the Cartier of the like 1100s and the 1200s and like early Europe. Like they had these art pieces of the black Moors. So they're showing a veneration and knowing that that royalty and all of their kingdoms were, like you said, taught from these humble black folks who initiated them into certain sciences. You know what I'm saying? Like so that's understanding that, and that relationship where like you can see paintings in museums, although they are hidden today. You'll see the paintings where you'll have the finest dressed, like in European royal, like aristocratic like garb. You'll see the finest looking like dark melanated cats, and they got white servants around them, like because that was the get down back in the day. Like that the Moors civilized Europe.
Yes, sir.
So what was the there had to be a veneration of these I don't want to say Africans, these melanated folks who civilized Europe at that time. That racism and all of that stuff, like the Treaty of Nicaea did for the Bible, all of these, like they had different, the Nicene Conference and all of these things. Like racism can almost have a pinpoint date. Like, nah, fuck these niggas. Like we're gonna collectively have that stance and try to have like a penis measuring contest. Like we although we know biologically it'll never equate, but we have to now coerce the consciousness of the world. And that's what I'm saying. We're in that world of like 700 plus years, or maybe even 2000 plus years of that twisted like version of reality. What I'm saying? But like prior to that, it was like a different world. It was like different, you know what I'm saying? So we're on this, like when we talk about race and all of that, it gets real emotional, and especially with the historic references that we have, in the last 500 years, 2,000 years or whatever, like when it comes to black folks on earth. But man, melanated history on this earth goes back millions of years. You see what I'm saying?
Goes back
so
to
we're
the beginning.
talking about like a very short period of like time reference. That's my only point. Like we're only talking about a very
Right, these people are babies on the planet, but we've been conquered by our children. So I mean, essentially,
It's happening today. There's a senior abuse, happening every day.
let me ask you a question.
Kids are beating up their parents.
Does anybody like being in a society to where you're at the bottom and you're in a subservient position, or you have to follow the dominant culture? Do you as a man enjoy this?
No, sir.
Is that where we are right now?
98% of the senators are white. In the House of Representatives, 98% of it are white. Almost all of the Supreme Court justices are white. 99.9% of presidents have been white. A majority of the billionaires and leaders of industry and the people that are going to hire that own these companies are white. Majority of the police officers that police our communities are white. Majority of the fire department are white. Majority of the nonprofit programs that quote unquote help us in our condition are white. So the thing is, maybe we don't focus on it, but when we really think about it, it's like as a man, you can't like that. And
you said you're part of the Nation of Islam.
The reason. Well, yes. So right. I'm under black leadership. However, I still work in a white corporation. However, I'm still in a white society that's dominated by people of European descent. So the reason why I'm saying that is because the flip side of it is that the Europeans were on their land. They were living on their land. They can have
land?
A Europe. They can have an admiration to Moors, but I believe there was always
even Europe is Africa. So we have to say it's even
the whole earth,
black land.
The whole earth belongs to the original black man because before there was anybody else, we inhabited every place on this planet, or we knew every place on this planet, and we chose the best parts of this planet for ourselves, and we didn't really care about the poor parts. When other people gained in their population through us allowing it to actually happen, we placed them on these places. Because the original inhabitants, if you keep going back, there have always been black, and there's remnants of black Asians, black Arabs, black Irish, black quote unquote South Americans, Canadians, et cetera, Americans. So it always starts with us. But the reason why I say that is because they couldn't, as men, they couldn't have felt comfortable, even if they admired, even if they were thankful for the knowledge and the wisdom and the revitalization of Europe that the Moors brought. They couldn't have felt comfortable that people from somewhere else were dominating them, and this is why the Moors are no longer dominating those nations. So it's just like us. Some of us who are ignorant or who don't care about power, who lack the testosterone to really care about power, to understand that power gives you the ability to sustain your family, your neighborhood, and your nation without having to go to someone else for sustenance, right? That doesn't look like you. You know what I mean? Some of them may have felt that way, but the responsible parties that had the knowledge, the wisdom, and the know-how to actually lead, rule, control, and then redistribute those resources to the common folk, they understood the assignment. Because no man wants, it's just like somebody like you having a house and somebody living there, that's a man. You can sense that he's uncomfortable. He have a conversation with you, cool. He comes in, he looks at you, and you can sense it's like this weird feeling, even if this is your homie. He's constantly thinking about that.
So you're saying you would never be comfortable in America?
I would never be comfortable, not necessarily in America. I would never be comfortable under the rulership of another man that doesn't look like me.
Understand?
So you'll never be comfortable in America?
America won't always be this way. America won't always be the way that it is. In order for this is a hard pill for people.
And you said you're under the leadership of the nation. Like, okay, so you see my point. I'm kind of like antagonizing you a little bit.
That's
you
fine.
know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is like the Muslims, for example. Land is really like arbitrary, land is just the land, we've, like you said, we've been across every piece of land, every parcel of land all around the world. It doesn't really matter. Like, we've walked the whole planet, so there's no white land, there's no black land, there's no, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's land, right?
Well, according to law, it's the original ownership, unless it was given, sold, or bought through just and legal means.
Right, but in our current jurisdiction, in our current status of where we are right now, like America, we're saying America exists, right? And America is the the corporation that's owned by, like you're saying, majority white folks, right? With maybe definitely white supremacist agenda, and what I'm saying, like that's what it seems like, and historically that's what it's the laws have shown, right? So, but within America, there are also other indigenous tribes, and they have their laws as well, because this was their land. This is still indigenous land. That's what I'm saying. Like, land is really interchangeable, So when I asked, will you ever be comfortable in America? You said not under the leadership of somebody else. But then earlier you said, I'm under the Nation of Islam leadership. So then what is?
So my mental landscape, my mental real estate is under the command and the directives.
Okay, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about
the Nation of Islam,
physical,
and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the most honorable.
A nation is a physical entity.
First, it is a mental entity. It cannot be a physical entity. Everything is mental.
A nation that bears a flag.
Everything is mental before it is physical.
Agreed.
That's how things manifest into existence.
But now that it's manifested into existence, and now that it is in existence, if it is a nation, then it must operate as a nation, correct?
And that's how we operate, minus the current state of our own land.
Okay, but I'm listening to your thoughts.
We have our own constitution. We have a leadership structure.
Okay.
We have laws.
Okay, so you are under black leadership, living in under your nation, I don't know. Now that's a legal status.
We're a nation inside of a nation. So
which can exist.
We're taught to respect those in authority among us, and to respect those in authority over us, as long as it does not conflict with our religion. So it's certain things that we will never allow the white man to tell us, to make us do. We would rather face death or being jailed and thrown in prison. Right. So technically, that's why I said our mental real estate is under the control and the directives of the Nation of Islam, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, his teachings. Right. So
when will your physical real estate be under the?
Well, God, see, just like the children of Israel in the metaphorical version of Egypt at that point in time, because historically that never actually happened, but it's the story of today that we live in. Just like he told Moses to confront Pharaoh, and after the confrontation of Pharaoh, and after the plagues that were visited upon Pharaoh, and after God destroyed Pharaoh, he gave land to the children of Israel, which was there. We're living in the fulfillment of prophecy, of the historical ramifications of the prophetic ramifications of the Bible. We are living in the Holy Quran and Torah. We are living it today.
Sir.
So I can't tell you when God is going to do that, but I know that God is preparing us. Because it's about the preparation. If we were to have our own land, nation, bylaws, police department, government, Congress, Senate, president, whatever you want to call it, right? Then we would turn into it would be black devil leadership. So we first of all,
would be what?
It would be black devil leadership. We are cleansing.
Why?
Because we have to be cleansed and purified, and our brain has to be washed from being dirty by the teachings of white supremacy.
Yes, sir.
So we have to be re-educated and retrained. And in the process of being re-educated and retrained, everything ain't for everybody when God wants to place us in a position that we will never fall from again. It won't be a need to. We're in that process of purification. Allah in the Holy Quran said that the devil said, "I will come from when the devil made. When God made man and told all the angels to bow down to man, and all of the angels bowed except for Shaitan or Satan, the devil. Right.
Yep.
God asked him why. He said, "I made a fire that made of dust or clay or dirt. Right. And God basically cursed the devil, and the devil said, "All right, I will make all of them deviate. I will come from before them, from the sides of them, from behind them. You will find them all deviating." God said, "Oh yeah, except for my purified ones." We are in the fulfillment of that prophecy.
Yes, sir.
We are living. It's a living book. It's not a dead. These are living scriptures and living books. They're not dead. They're alive.
Yeah. I want to go back to your line of questioning. So it seems like you were going to a place like, if we're under the Nation of Islam, why are we uncomfortable? Is that where you were going, or no?
Why are you uncomfortable with what?
Being in America, if you're under black leadership.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm
Which I think is a fair question.
Right?
Yeah.
I like his line of questioning.
It's a good line of questioning.
I'm not mad at it.
It's a good line of questioning.
We don't shy from controversy.
Yeah.
The way that it's controversial. I'm just like throwing things, just seeing how your mind is working.
Yeah.
But,
No, it's a good question. Yeah.
Like my interpretation of Islam
Yeah.
is, like I said last time, it's like a legal document. So it's all about jurisdiction. It's all about paperwork. Who you are and how you represent your nation. Because in the Quran, like chapter 4, An-Nisa, is about the women, and it's all about the women's rights and how you're setting up your household. And what are the rights of that household, and how the women are to be protected in that household, and all of, you know what I'm saying? Like every aspect of societal, individual, communal life is spoken of in the Quran. You know what I'm saying? Aspects of war, aspects of nationhood, all of that. Allah said He created us in nations and tribes so we may get to know one another.
Facts.
Right. So now these are governments. These are nations and tribes, which are governmental entities. That we can say, we could swap out the words and say, I created you in nonprofits and corporations, you know what I'm saying? Or like LLCs and, you know what I'm saying, S Corps. So y'all may interface with each other. You see what I'm saying? So we're doing business together. That's what this whole thing is about. It's about business and trade.
Yeah.
And that's what it's always been about. Even the like we were talking about before, the pilgrimages, trade and commerce was intertwined with the pilgrimage. You see what I'm saying? It was like, all right, during this season, you're gonna come over here, bring these fabrics, and we got these, sheep over here, and y'all can bring that back. And it's commerce.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So from the very beginning, it's about jurisdiction, rights, regulations, trade, currency.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These high-minded, like nationhood, like that's nation talk.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I agree.
So now, as a Muslim, now we have to have our own jurisdiction. We're under the jurisdiction of who? Of Allah. We're under whose law? Allah's law. You know what I'm saying?
The Sharia.
Right.
Yeah.
So which is, but that's the Quran. So now, so we're under a certain jurisdiction. So now, as a Muslim, it goes even further. Can a Muslim even be so a Muslim is a nation unto itself, even aside from the Nation of Islam, which that started, you know what I'm saying, like in the 1940s or whatever. Like aside from
1930?
that, 1930. So,
But what technically Islam has always existed. In Islam has no birth record.
Yeah,
But what we know as the Nation of Islam, like us, started in 1930.
Okay.
July 4th.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so independent. There you go.
But Islam has no birth record, for the record. Like, no.
Correct.
It's
Has
the universe.
That's student enrollment right there. Right.
Exactly.
It's the
Exactly.
universe. Yes.
So it's the universal
It's the-
code in
yes, sir.
how to operate on this world, in this world.
To achieve
you know
peace.
What I'm saying?
Facts.
To achieve peace.
To achieve peace
And
and
harmony.
order.
Facts. Yes, sir.
Especially order.
Yes, sir.
Order
You know
is
what I'm
peace.
saying?
Peace is order.
And justice. You know what I'm saying?
Freedom, justice, and equality.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
truth. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So all of those tenets are written within the Quran. So
Yes, sir.
my point is, if we're under that jurisdiction, then that jurisdiction is a nation unto itself because it has its own bylaws. So if you're pledging allegiance to that jurisdiction, then you're saying, I live under these tenets. These are my managers. These are my higher ups. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Not the, Joe Biden's and the, whoever, right? So now it's a different identity card, even because it goes further. Like the first people, like if you watch 12 Years a Slave, it's Brother Solomon who got caught up in the whole story, right? Mm-hmm. He got caught up on what? Paperwork. He lost his papers to show that he was indigenous.
Yeah.
Ended up, getting caught up in slavery.
That's
you
right.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even there was Muslims, even in slavery times, who got caught up in slavery because they lost their status and had to, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Got caught up.
get their way up out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Serve it.
But that in of itself was un-Islamic.
What?
To what?
Yeah,
to
perpetual slavery.
To become a slave.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
perpetual slavery.
The only-
Slavery is accepted, but perpetual slavery is not accepted.
Well-
You could buy yourself out of slavery, and it's definitely not the slavery
Well, we're talking
that
about
existed in
indentured
America.
servitude,
Yeah.
having a
Absolutely.
debt and working off of a debt.
Yeah.
Slavery itself is perpetual. There's no such thing as a non-perpetual slavery.
Facts.
Right. Servants, we're talking about Abdul,
Right. But servant of Allah, Abdul Azim, which Azim is one of the names of Allah.
One of the
It's-
attributes,
This is why you can't like my name Abdul Muhammad is actually against the law in Islam for me to just have that name. I have to have a middle name for that because I can't be the slave or the servant of Muhammad. So Abdul Azim, I'm the slave of the most magnificent, the most. It's another word for the greatest. Like Akbar. But going to what you were saying, the reason why Sharia law is dangerous in this world is because it has to be interpreted by man who we don't have people who are pure enough to actually carry it out.
Facts.
Because fiqh is the human understanding of God's divine law, right? So you have Islamic scholars who have biases that have interpreted Sharia, God's immutable, unchangeable law.
Yeah, but they interpret it to their own biases because
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right. So they're not interpreting it with
Because it's not-
Ar-Rahman, which is the merciful. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
they don't interpret, which is the most repeated attribute
Correct.
of Allah, in the Quran. So they don't interpret it through that lens of being merciful. They say, no, we're going to chop your head off. We're going to kill you. They don't implement the mercy. So their Sharia doesn't exist.
The only people who have the ability to enact the law in the Mosaic manner are the purified ones. But the purified ones would, if they're truly purified, would at first be beneficent and merciful, Rahman and Rahim, right? So they give the chance. They first civilize the savage. When Prophet Muhammad, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, when you see injustice, because even to act wickedly is an injustice, not even just against the person that you're doing it to, but it's an injustice against yourself, right? So Prophet Muhammad said, when you see an injustice and you have no power, you separate yourself from it. When you get a little bit of power, you speak out against it. You teach against it. Then when you get some real power, you change it physically. You fight against it. You know what I mean?
And then he said the weakest of faith is to hate it in your heart. You know what I'm saying?
You don't have the right to hate it.
You have to hate that. And that the injustice, absolutely, you have to hate that.
I'm thinking you're talking about hating individuals because of
I'm saying that
behavior.
that full hadith that you just recited was either you change it with your hands, you can change it with your hands, you can change it with your words, and the weakest of all of them is to at least hate it in your heart that you're not doing anything about it, and that's the weakest of faith. So you see what I'm saying?
Right, but that brings you full circle to eventually do something about it, because it's a weight on your heart that you have to do something about it.
Right, because
eventually.
we are the vicegerents of earth. So we're not waiting for any purified ones. We are the purified ones, and we're constantly in a state of,
but that's the point.
Purification.
Right.
To achieve this level of law and justice that we can now preside over our own hearings. You know what I'm saying?
But you early on in your path. You early on in your path. Me early on in my path.
Yes, sir.
I didn't have the ability to have this conversation. And when I saw people breaking the law, I was harsh with them. I was judgmental.
Yeah.
I fell. I broke the law. I saw that I wasn't excluded from the penalties and from being broken by the law, because I worded that wrong. You don't break the law, you get broke by it, right? The law doesn't bend, break, shake, shift, or whatever, right? So I had to humble myself. I'm not free of temptation.
That's right.
I'm not free of slipping, right? So that gave me the inclination. And now when I see people slipping, I can advise as opposed to judge. I can try to help with what I fell short in. And now I'm able to deal with better.
Right.
At the moment.
Right. And that's now that's a level of purity that you've come in the judgment on that we were given of, this is right, this is wrong. You know what I mean? So now you're able to elevate your level of consciousness for the sake of community and teaching high level morality. You know what I'm saying? Like most Muslims, most judges in the Sharia law, Muhammad would, peace be upon him, wouldn't even look him in the face. He would be ashamed. You know what I'm saying? He would turn their back on him. He would, slice their head off with the injustice that they're representing. You see what I'm saying?
That's why the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he wouldn't give a nickel for the Islamic scholarship from the Middle East.
Facts.
Because it hasn't produced what Islam
that
should produce.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. I would agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Like, I don't see it today. I don't see it in the culture. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I do not. And anybody who doesn't, just go to Saudi Arabia during the month of Ramadan. You're going to see these people, sleeping all day and partying all night. That's what I was told. I was told this multiple times, but I've been in Africa during the month of Ramadan. I see people who don't have anything, and they fast and break their fast with nothing, and they still fast, and pray, devout, like
they don't.
And they work all day long under the hot sun.
They don't change their sleep cycle.
Man, they don't change their sleep cycle. That's wicked, man. That's wicked.
Right. Just so they don't have to deal with the heat. Yeah. They don't have to deal with the uncomfortability of not being able to eat and drink during the daylight hours.
Yeah.
Right. And that's permitted over there. You know what I mean? It's
what? To drink?
No, it's permitted for them to live that way during Ramadan.
Oh, it's absolutely.
Everything shifts.
Everything shifts. It's a pure wickedness.
The culture. But I was watching something on this.
Well, let me say I don't understand it. Okay, I don't want to judge it and say it's pure wickedness. To me, I don't understand.
To
me, it's contrary to what I thought the spirit of Ramadan should be.
It's what they call innovation. You know, they always that is the innovation. If they don't agree with it, you know what I mean. So because you know and that's even that is a form of because they're Caucasian people with a little bit of black people, the original Arabs in them, but they got a lot of Greek and Roman in them because they were storming through that area to get to Egypt, and that's where they got their pale skin from, for the most part. And the ones that didn't go to Europe when we was forcing them all out, some of them was hidden amongst us, but that's a whole nother story. But anyway, right? So the fact that they believe, like they told Minister Farrakhan that, we think Allah for you joining our religion. When did you own this religion? The nature in which it says this day I have perfected for you your religion, the nature in which you were created in. Last time I checked, the oldest people on this planet look like us. Last time I checked, the Holy Quran said he created man out of black sounding clay.
Yes, sir.
So you don't look like that. You know what I'm saying? So why you want me to humble myself at your feet? Why you want me to just agree with your tasfir, your interpretation of the Holy Quran, your interpretation of hadith, and the fact that a lot of these hadiths don't even line up with reality. You know what I mean? Like it's like
A lot of people don't want to deal with it.
yeah.
A lot of people don't want to deal with it because we're not coming at religion as historical reference. We're not coming at it really like intellectuals. We're coming at it on some faith-based, and then we're giving up all of our emotional and intellectual even and spiritual energy to somebody else.
Spookism. The same
You know
thing
what
that
I'm
happened with Christianity is the same thing that happened when a lot of us transitioned to
Islam.
to the Arabs
Arabized version of Islam.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
right.
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 And recently, and this is super controversial, but I think it's time for people to start fasting Ramadan in the right way. Okay. Recently, I started a brother named Dr. Ali Muhammad, who I tip my hat, bro. The dude is, he's sharp as a needle. I mean, sharp as a knife, sharp as the dude is on point. So basically, I found this to be true to me. And it's true beyond reasonable doubt. Like I'm open to a lot of different philosophies, but I'm going to research a certain point.
Yeah.
So basically what he argued is that Ramadan is definitely not by the lunar calendar. It cannot be calculated. Muslims should not be following the lunar calendar, which I agree with him. And the true Ramadan is in December. Yeah.
Understood.
Well, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, which they were pissed off,
Said it.
well, no, he said it, but the reasoning behind him saying it was the fact. So when Islam, as we know it, was formulated in the Middle East, Muslims would come into prayer drunk. Muslims was. It was just a lot of dysfunctional behavior that eventually got cleaned up. The law wasn't 100% enacted. It was a time of mercy for certain people who were transitioning that wasn't as zealous to change immediately, right? So the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad felt the same way about us initially, that to do a straight 180 change 100% or to just jump straight into that during a 18 hour sunlight month to him didn't make much sense. So as a mercy to the believers and to the followers, he did it in December. You know what I mean? It's just like the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Which is the shortest days.
Right. To me, the reason why he says you should you should cook bread twice. You should bake bread twice and bake cornbread twice. Because really you shouldn't be eating it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta brown your rice. To get some of that starch out of it, you gotta drink egg coffee. You know what I'm saying? Because it dilutes the egg, sops up a lot of the negative attributes of the coffee, right? Is because the reality is, if he just flipped it 100% totally, it's like he already was telling us we couldn't eat pork. You can't eat collard greens. You can't,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You can't eat candy yams. You can't eat this and that. Like, it was like, yo, like a lot of our soul food slave nigga diet, he had already X'd out. So it was like, I can't X out. I can't take everything totally away. So I give him a healthier version of eating some of these things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, we were just talking about black rice. But if black rice doesn't have the same issues as white rice or even brown rice. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's a lot of minerals in black rice and in pink rice. But the rest of those rices is low key toxic. You know what I'm saying? It's like eating sugar. You feel me? So same thing with bread and pastas and all that. You know what I mean? So I think
But he eliminated all that.
Right.
He eliminated alcohol.
Right.
He eliminated smoking.
Right.
He eliminated very harsh regimens, even promoting one meal a day for okay. So that's
so that's why.
So how are you saying that it was too harsh of 180 turn? Because that's definitely a 180 from taking drug addicts and criminal minded folks and turning them into disciplined.
Well, this is from what people have told me that were
okay. So let me explain
that were around at that point in time.
Yeah.
The most honorable, I've never heard the most honorable Elijah Muhammad say what Dr. Ali Muhammad said.
Right.
That we shouldn't necessarily be following the lunar calendar. We should always practice.
Let me ask you something.
Ramadan in December. Because he told the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to find a way, to establish a relationship that doesn't dilute us and turn us into them with the Muslims from the East.
Say that again.
He told the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to make a bridge, to make a connection that doesn't dilute us, though, and doesn't usurp and merge and morph us into them, but create a relationship with, establish that relationship. Even though he had
with the Islam, the cult, like the Orthodox Islam,
the so-called, I'll say so-called Orthodox.
I mean, there's only one Orthodox. Like, there's not. Well,
Yeah. Well, the Orthodox is like the proper way, or the That's why
I use Orthodox as just saying like the mainstream, like you know what I'm saying, like the predominant, like you know what I'm saying, without getting into like different sects.
Yeah. Right.
So,
yeah, but more about the brother and his reasoning to why he fasts in December. Yeah,
right. I think I back this. I validated this through not only the Quran, but through actual science and astrology, universal happenings that go beyond a shadow of a doubt, that prove that Islam and what the Quran brought is the religion of our galaxy, of our, you know what I'm saying? Like it goes beyond, because like my reasoning is, okay, if Allah says everything is Muslim, right, and Islam is since the beginning of time, then the sun, the moon, and the stars and all the planets, they're Muslim, right?
Correct.
Because they submit to the will of Allah, right?
Facts.
This is the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad that he's.
This is in the Quran, so this is universal fact. Like
but I'm saying, if Dr. Ali Muhammad said that to you, yes.
No, I'm talking about from me as a Muslim, like you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
This is
everything is submissive to the will of Allah,
submitting to the will of Allah.
Right.
Facts.
Even the planets.
Right.
Bowing down and cannot alter their course.
Right.
Facts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
We the only entities that can't.
Oh, correct. We have
But
free. We have
ultimately,
free will.
even in our sense of a free will, we're still being usurped by the ultimate plan of
By the ultimate plan, because Allah plans, and although man plans, Allah is planning. You know what I'm saying? Like so.
Yes,
so, what I'm saying is, during the lunar months of the month of Ramadan, if we're saying the month of Ramadan, this is where that first revelation where we said Iqra, right? That came during the month of Ramadan. Okay, the Quran, the whole everything was built around the month of Ramadan. Okay, what did Allah say in the Quran about the month of Ramadan? Did you know anything about it?
That it's a beautiful and
He said
majestic a month. Well, that's what it really says in the Night of Majesty.
Yeah, speak on that.
And well, you know, I mean, you
Night
already
of Power.
said it.
The Night of Power.
Night of Power, the Night of Majesty. Is the first revelation that you know of.
Laylatul
just said it.
Qadr.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So the Night of Power. It says that the month of Ramadan contains a night which is more powerful than 1,000 nights.
Right.
Okay.
Like 1,000 days of fasting or something like that as well.
Right. It's so everything is magnified because everything is x 1,000. It's not 10x. It's 1,000x.
Yeah.
Okay. On the Laylat al Qadr, right?
Yeah.
The Night of Power. Then what does it say about the month of Ramadan? It says he made fasting like compulsory, on us and, made us fast, right? He also said that he made the month of Ramadan easy for us in the Quran. He made it easy for us. Okay.
That can be a sign for a work of a man to come in the future.
How so? We're talking about the month of Ramadan that Allah said he made it easy for us.
Right.
Okay.
So that can be interpreted as he made it easy for all Muslims, or he made it easy for a group of Muslims. And it could be he guided someone to make it easy for us, because it doesn't specifically say Allah. It says he made it easy for us. And anything the messenger does is a messenger of God or a prophet of God is doing mainly is through the mandate of God.
Yeah, okay. But what I'm talking about is that in the Quran itself, right? The Quran I'm
just saying because that was fulfilled. That easy Ramadan was fulfilled by most honorable Elijah Muhammad. You already said it earlier.
Yeah.
By what?
You said it earlier.
The month of December.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, but the Nation of Islam doesn't fast in the month of December anymore.
Some believers still do.
It's not a popular belief.
But no,
it's not even well known.
That's not true.
We know
that's not true.
Yeah, continue. Yeah,
I mean, from when I asked, like, it's not even well, like,
it depends on who you ask. Everybody doesn't know everything,
right?
You know what I mean? So it's not. It depends on who you ask.
But what I'm saying is, it's definitely not the majority. The
point is that at one point in time, every member of the Nation of Islam was fasting during December, whether it's now or
so we're talking about a manual. We're talking about a manual that was written in Arabic,
but it's not 100% definite as there's a perpetual easy Ramadan for you perpetually. It's saying that he made it easy for you.
Allah made Ramadan easy for the believers.
Do you know which surah this is?
I think it's in the Night of Majesty, the Night of Power.
Not that part. That we could just Google it. Like
I got my phone, so I
all right.
Well, you can open up your Quran app and just put those main words in there.
Yeah, I just Google it. Like everything is you just
because Google be hating on the Quran. Yeah, it don't be popping up surahs and stuff like that.
DuckDuckGo. But Google though, like I've Googled this millions of times, like already.
Yeah, let's figure this out. Let's get to the root.
So I don't know. My thing is not working. Okay, here we go.
It's not the night of majesty.
Oh,
Not
it is.
that.
It is the night of but not this particular verse.
Okay.
Allah made Ramadan
Yeah, put that in there
easy.
for the Muslims.
Okay.
See how they be hating on the Quran?
Yeah.
Yo, you type in one word, two words that correspond with a Bible verse, bro. The King James, the New Translation, and all of them pop up.
Okay.
The Quran, they straight be hating on the Quran.
Quran Ramadan made easy.
A hadith will pop up before.
Yeah, you're right. It's the first time like that I've ever seen that.
See, I got a Quran. Let me. I'll be right back.
Okay, watch. This is what I can do. Verses in Quran.
I'll be right back on live. I'm not going nowhere, so I was going to pause for a second. Gotta find this verse.
Yeah.
Now I'm talking to the people that was on my live.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. O you who have believed, decreed upon you is fasting as it was decreed upon those before you, that you may become righteous. So Ramadan fasting.
Which surah?
This is Surah 2 183. Okay, that's the first one. Then okay. Laylatul Qadr. 5 Chronic. Okay, here we go. Probably in this one. O you who believe, fasting is prescribed to you. Okay, that's the first one. Fasting is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, that you may attain taqwa. The month of Ramadan, in which was revealed the Quran, a guidance for people and clear proofs of guidance and criterion. So whoever cites the month, let him fast it. And whoever is ill or on a journey, then an equal number of other days. Allah intends for you ease, as does not intend for you hardship, for you to complete the period and to glorify Allah for
Which surah in ayat is that?
That's 2185.
Go to 2185. Sometimes it's
But that wasn't what I was looking for though.
Right. I couldn't find it when I just looked
The
at my
messenger
app.
of Allah, he who gives. Oh no, this is verse 5. Allah has made which is better than 1,000 months. Allah says, therein descend the angels and the ruh. Allah.
But until we find that, right?
Okay. So my only point is, Allah intended an aspect of ease for us, right?
Right.
So, okay.
Yeah.
First of all, Jewish, Christian, Muslim supposedly come from the same line of people.
Abrahamic faith.
Okay, so Jewish is really an extension of Islam, since Islam was here from the beginning. From a Muslim perspective,
yes, sir.
We can say Christianity is from the same overall bylaws. And now I'm looking at these as like almost like political institutions. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, sir.
These are societal, like, you know, like programs, like built-in like structures that we can look at, and the Quran itself is that manifestation of the historical document to prove my point. So Judaism, Christianity, Islam, right? So Judaism, look it up on Google right now, follows a lunar solar calendar. Okay. Lunar solar, meaning they look at the moon, and they calibrate certain of their holidays, like Passover or whatever. It'll be after the full moon of a certain like solar event. You know, the next full moon after a certain solar event. So it's a lunar solar calendar. Okay, Christians follow a strictly solar calendar. The Christ, the solar, the sun. You know what I mean? Yeah. So now they strayed away from
Helios, Biblos,
the lunar solar. Mm-hmm. Now Muslims, Islam follow a lunar calendar. Okay. So now, how are three different faiths supposedly all deriving from the same root? A calendar system is the most fundamental part of building a society. A calendar will tell you when to plant. You cannot have a society if you don't know when the seasons are.
Facts.
When to plant. Okay,
Facts.
so like we proved earlier, last time, a couple weeks ago.
Well, they wasn't planting much in the Middle East.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
I talked how I don't think the Middle East was that particular place in the Middle East, or the Arabian Desert. I don't think that was the fundamentals birthplace of Islam to begin with. So
No,
I think that's a false premise.
Well, to reference what you said earlier, right? How it's the Abrahamic faith, Islam came later, right? The structural version of Islam as a tablet and manual, because all these are manuals on how to live. The Holy Quran says that I've given each nation a book, and I would judge each nation. It says I would judge each nation by the book that I have given them. And if you're a true Jew, Muslim, Christian, Sabaean, you will have your day with your Lord, right? But then in that other part where it says, I have perfected for you on this day your religion, which is Islam, the nature in which you were created. So when we look at the corruption of Judaism or the followership of Musa, Moses, right, and his bylaws and his mandates given to him by God, right, and then when we look at the twisted interpretation of the life of Jesus and falsely calling him God and the Son of God simultaneously. So if you kill Jesus, you must have killed you had to kill God, and then how does God and
All
Jesus?
of those were later fabrications.
Right. How did Jesus? So Jesus impregnated himself into
all of those are perversions from African stories.
Right.
So we're going.
You talking about a set in Asar and Heru and then stories of other black people. I forget. I can't think of the other black stories from other parts of the planet, like India and other places, right? But anyway, right? And what's the name went over? It was a documentary called Zeitgeist that went over those correlations. But God in the Bible says, I am God and I change not. So he comes to different people culturally in different ways, but the stories interlock and intertwine. And this is why it also says in the Holy Quran, I've sent each nation a messenger and a warner, some known and some unknown. So just because we don't know them don't mean they wasn't divine, right? So but Islam being the nature in which he created man, right, supersedes and superimposes itself over top of everything else. And when he said, I perfected for you your religion on this day, which is Islam, which is clearing up the misconceptions added to the Torah.
So do you follow? So do you follow lunar years? Being that your religion has been perfected and your religion follows a calendar. I follow
what the modern man of God tells me to follow today, which is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So until he tells me not to, I no disrespect to Dr. Ali Muhammad or anybody else that switches and navigates their perspective on that, but I follow Farrakhan until he tells me that.
You follow the lunar calendar, is what you're saying.
I don't follow a calendar. I follow the practice of practicing Ramadan during what majority of the the majority of the Islamic world practices. But I don't follow the calendar.
Yeah. Well, you have to follow the calendar because you if you fast during Ramadan, then you're following the calendar of their start date, and if you end 30 days later, which
my year doesn't start. My year doesn't start in the beginning of the year of the lunar calendar. Sure. You know what I'm saying?
But your Ramadan, which is as a Muslim, is the most important month of your religion, right?
You can this
is the night worth 1,000 nights. It's not worth knowing this argument this and observing that night.
Good point.
Shouldn't it be the night that the holy book was revealed? The first revelation is not a night worth analyzing.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is, but you let me know, how do we figure out when exactly, because I don't even understand how they know. And if 1 year, I mean, I agree with you. It does not make sense, because if in 1 year, right, Ramadan is in March, another year it's in June, it's in July, it's in August. It's like Easter. Easter ain't on the same day every year. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, how is it switching up?
But Christmas is.
It is. It is. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And so you said
are
a
talking about
so
the
you said a
winter.
zeitgeist.
You're talking about the winter solstice.
Very good.
Right?
Very good.
I understand that.
Okay.
Right. But
What do you understand about it?
I've never correlated. What this is what some people tie in the death and ascension of Jesus into heaven.
It has nothing to do with Jesus.
I mean, you.
But that story kind of like correlates. You're right. You're right.
There's a SON and a SUN, and then they kind of correlate the polytheistic worship of
Let me give you a missing piece. Let me give you a missing piece that you don't. Have. Like you
give it to me.
You have a lot, and this is a missing piece. Okay. During that time, the three kings in the east. Okay. We have three kings in the east, right? That's what that story is about. The three kings in the east followed the star. The three kings followed the star in the east.
Interesting.
Right?
The three kings also were stars, right?
Exactly. Okay. So what stars
It's the
were
three
they?
king pyramids.
What stars were those?
I don't know the exact name.
That's Orion, the belt of Orion.
Okay.
Those three stars.
That's
That's what the pyramids represent. Those
the
three
galaxy
pyramids.
that they're in. But there are three stars,
Okay.
and that last star is slightly out of alignment. Just like
Right.
the three king pyramids, the last one is representing and paying homage to that is slightly out of alignment with the
Right,
the
because it's
first two.
representing the belt of Orion.
Correct.
Okay, so the
Sphinx
belt of
is Leo, and everything else is creating heaven on earth
okay,
in a sense.
okay. So on the 21st, that next day, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and then the sun, rises, like what I'm saying, like whatever.
To the highest point.
Right. So during during the winter solstice on the night of the 21st, our planet is the closest it gets to the Sagittarius constellation. Now, there is a galactic center, a galactic core that's a massive black hole, so they say, that's at the center of is towards the Sagittarius A galaxy. And it's so massive that our whole galaxy is spinning around this point. Okay? So it's energizing this whole, our everything. You know what I'm saying? And so literally all the planets submit their will to this centrifugal force that we can almost say symbolically the throne of Allah is there because everything spins around this point. Our Earth now.
I like this, brother.
No, man.
Very-
And continue, yeah, because I'm gonna like.
So
it's not a coincidence that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had us fasting to the month in December, and he's telling us that he's
a multifaceted genius.
Exactly. So
And
he didn't reveal the true reason behind that.
See,
He
but I
just
don't-
said like
Right.
we ain't ready for all that, but
Right.
he could have been
I don't want to
informed.
speculate.
It is
though,
true. We don't
and
know.
Then put something.
Facts.
See, where
Yeah, I feel you.
We're
I feel
supposed
you.
to come with actual facts.
I feel you.
mean, what the brother is saying
Exactly.
makes sense. I understand
Yeah.
about 85% of what he was saying from past research, but I intellectually cooperate with 100% of what you're saying.
Yeah, and for the record, like we discussed, we follow Ramadan with the quote-unquote Orthodox rule because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told us so, and he told us so under the guidance of the Honorable Minister,
Correct.
Honorable Elijah Muhammad,
Correct.
because he wanted us to have a better relationship with the quote-unquote Orthodox rule, not for reasons this brother is saying. It wasn't a as far as we know, it wasn't a scientific. It was more just like, listen, like you got to make moves in grades to get closer to these body of people for the grand divine plan. So continue, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, hold on. Well, we have friends that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan made for us that will aid us in our separation and our elevation out of the hands of white supremacy.
absolutely.
So, and Muammar Gaddafi
Yes, sir.
was one of those friends.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So, and others who have aided the minister and aid us when we come into contact with them that don't have that same. We ain't talking about the ones that want us to bow down and convert to their understanding.
Yeah.
They're our brothers in faith, but they were not our brothers in interpretation and understanding. They have a skewed perspective of us, and they judge us, right?
Yes, sir.
And we're not doing this to bow down to them and to genuflect and to make them say, "Oh, you've now come
Finally,
to the finally accepted real Islam." Like they know what real Islam is, because if they knew what real Islam is, the purity and the cleansing and the peace, like how we started off when the brother initially mentioned the facts of that is, then they would have the peace there, especially them being the leaders, the scholars, the thought, the ones that interject the interpretation into the ignorant class of believers that just follow what they say. So I just needed to clear that up.
Yes, sir.
That the minister's not sending us to kiss nobody, you know what I'm saying, backside.
Facts.
And because we strong in what we believe in point number 12 and the fact that Allah appeared in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, and the fact that we kick out so many leaders, and the fact that we kick out the strongest people in the fight for freedom, justice, and equality is a sign and proof, to show and prove that what we believe is
true and exact,
right and exact, and on point.
Yes, sir.
Because we wouldn't have the power of Islam backing us. The white man would have destroyed his alphabet boys, the FBI, the CIA, Homeland Security, the Pentagon. All of their plots never worked. The same way it didn't work with our brother Fidel Castro, who might never proclaim to be Muslim, but Allah was on his side, surviving over 600 assassination attempts. But anyway, I didn't cut the brother off, but I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. Thank you. Continue with the throne of Allah.
Okay. Yeah. We got away from that. That's a beautiful story.
Yes, sir.
Right, because we take this mythological, fairy tale aspect to the realest book ever, and
spookism,
right. And if we say the Quran is real, then the Quran is real literally. It's as a literal work. And we can say that the Arabs agree that this is the most perfect, like it's beyond the Shakespeare of their time, like it's the best literary work, right? So it's as a literary work, it exceeds anything that's ever been done. As a mathematics, like infused, in there, like it's perfection beyond perfection. We could talk about the mathematic codes that are embedded in the Quran. As a scientific book, we have to talk about the scientific miracles, right?
Facts, man.
So now I'm talking pure science.
Facts, man.
Okay.
Yes, you are.
So we're this place which spins our whole galaxy, which is really energizing. Because they're finding science now. You can look this up. Science today is just finding out that this massive black hole that's close to the Sagittarius A galaxy is actually putting out energy. You see what I'm saying? A black hole should just be sucking up energy, sucking in energy. But this one is putting out energy, and they're just tripping out on how that's even possible. So they don't even understand the makings of this, reality that we're currently in, right? So literally during this month, during the Night of Power, our planet and the other planets in our solar system are bowing down to the will and submitting themselves to the throne of Allah. You see what I'm saying? The most powerful centrifugal force that we can say symbolically is on a macro level, the throne that everything is spinning around.
Understood.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So our Earth is getting its, the whole story from Christmas, like from the North Pole, like, Santa Claus comes and then, goes all around the world. It's the energy fields, like that Schumann resonance that you were talking about, this energy that's coming in from the North Pole and then going all around the world and coming back in from the bottom and going through the earth and out through the North Pole. And so it's the Santa Claus delivering those gifts from the North Pole. So they're talking about energy.
Understand.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So our energy is being calibrated during the night of power.
Okay. This is December 21st?
21st.
Okay, understood.
The energy of the earth. Now, popular culture, society, this Masonic, culture, and like Europeans and whatnot, they understand this. They understand these sciences. They understand calibrating certain events to the stars. This was our science. We lost that. We don't have that anymore.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We lost that.
Yeah.
So we don't calibrate.
Temporary loss.
But we at this moment in time, we do not calibrate. We're actually fearful of looking into the stars collectively. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this point, which is an easy reference point because December happens to be some of the shortest months, so it's very easy to fast during the month of December.
Yes, sir.
Right? And also the manifestations. If you look at indigenous cultures all around the world, they understood that December had a lot to do with manifestations. This was the secret of secrets was always manifestation when it came to the month of December. And you can look in different.
Guess when I'm releasing my new project.
What, December 21st?
Yes, 12, 21, 21.
Come on,
Bro.
It won't be another 12, 21, 21 for 100 years.
Yeah, look, because so
It's on record too. We had this
I mean,
conversation
I guess
last
it
week.
won't be another today for another 100 years. But the reality of the situation is that number correlation, right? That because the seven can be said to be the God number. 777, 666, 777.
Yeah.
Right.
666 is the number of incompletion, which is also the number of the original.
Well,
man, 'cause
it's
we
9.
Because we were
666 is still 9.
we talk about the non-ether at that point, which brings in a different PowerPoint. But 7 is said to be the number of completion, right? So 777 would be triple completion, man, woman, and child. You could say that, right? Which is 21. You know what I mean? And 12 is 21 backwards. And so it's really 21, 21, 21. And like you said, the numerology is just like the reason why there's meaning behind chapter Mariam being the number 19. 19 is also
19 is embedded within the Quran.
Right.
Like, these are spiritual numbers. So
encoded.
So
Continue.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
I'll be right
Okay.
back.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
bro, so
Continue.
So, my only point is like,
Yeah.
all right, if the lunar calendar is the way to go, then why are we fasting 30 days? Because there's no lunar month that's 30 days.
That's true. Yeah.
So there's something that's fishy about it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, the fact that and there's even more. I could name other surahs in the Quran that even talk about those 3 stars. And I was going there, but he kind of took me off on a little tangent.
Yeah.
Those 3 stars are actually mentioned in the Quran of the Belt of Orion.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people don't know how to interpret this.
Where in the Quran is this?
This is the chapter actually named The Star.
Okay, understood. Yeah.
Chapter 53.
Yes, sir.
Called The Star.
Yes, sir.
Anam, I think. Al-Shara. Al-Shara.
Understood.
And the star that they're talking about in there is the Sirius star.
Okay.
In the Quran, Allah is swearing that He is the Lord of Sirius.
Okay. That's right.
Right?
Yep.
So now the Quran, Allah is pointing
It's about the dog star.
to Al-Shira, the Sirius star. So he's saying, he opens up the verse, the chapter 53, saying, by the star as it falls.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you have to understand that that's a astrological marking. It's an astrological marker, by the star as it falls.
Yeah.
That means that star falls same time every year, every time. So he's in that, if you read that verse, he's giving the first revelations to Muhammad, peace be upon him. He's saying, by the star as it falls, certainly, like, you're not in error, and those revelations that you're receiving are real and from your Lord, and this is like comforting, the prophet as he's receiving obviously this early revelation. So he's saying, by the star as it falls, though, that's the key, and it opens up first line with that. Okay.
Yeah.
So what star are they talking about? The Sirius star.
Okay.
Okay. So the Sirius star falls December 1st or November 29th. Okay.
Understood.
Now it falls at the the sunrise, right? Its position is 90 degrees to the sun. So these are astrologically, these are like really strong points where this is falling and it's due 90 degrees due east or something, is the sun. So this is a very strong relationship. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And so 21 days later, you see what I'm saying? When Sirius is at its lowest point, which is Sirius in African theology, this is the sun behind the sun. This is the spiritual sun. This is the origin of really, humanity, like the Dogons, and you know what I mean? This is where the ancestors came from.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now Allah is saying, by the star as it sets. So meaning this sun, which is this, and it goes along with the manifestation, this huge spiritual sun that's behind the most powerful thing that we see, is going to its lowest point. Right. So there's a level of, that's why manifesting during that time and going in and fasting and purifying is really makes sense to go in during that time of when the sun behind the sun is going into its lowest point and just its most hidden point. You know what I'm saying? It's going in, so us as well, we go in during that time, and, December 21st, that's the night of power. You know what I'm saying? That's when literally our earth is receiving all of that power. It cannot be randomized. If the Quran has a birthday, would you celebrate the birthday on different days of the year? No. If you were the Prophet Muhammad receiving the revelation, how would you tell your grandchildren the story of when you first received it? It was a cold summer, winter night. It was a warm summer evening. It would you would tell the same story the same way. Facts. But these things would not change. These seasons, just like I said in Li Ilafi Quraysh, Ilafihim Rahmatullah, she thought you were safe. She thought you were safe is the winter and the summer. The caravans were coming when the pilgrimage was happening. It was during winter and summer. These are key things. We're not following what the Quran is saying, where the caravans and the pilgrimage is happening during winter and summer. This is not there's no lunar winter and lunar summer. There's only one summer solstice and one winter solstice. So our ancestors were doing religious activities during the solstices. You see what I'm saying? This by the Quran.
Yeah, I understand.
You know what I'm saying? So I could even go deeper, bro. But like it's getting late.
You're making great points, bro. I might have to fast during December.
But I'm still fast. You know what I mean? But I don't.
Of course, I'm going to fast too.
I don't disagree with what you're saying.
What I said when you left,
because that is weird though. Like, you know what I'm saying? My birthday is August 19th. I know yours is, and it's the same day every year.
Yeah,
I know yours is too, and yours is too.
You want to know what
right.
you want another verification from the Quran. We're all Muslims here, so we should validate everything that we say by the Quran.
Yeah, everything got to be actual, factual. Balanced by the Quran. Right.
So do you want me to prove to you that the Quran is telling us to follow a lunar calendar? I can prove
well,
it.
you said it was telling us not to.
No, not to follow a lunar
Okay.
calendar.
Not to follow.
Yeah, not to follow a lunar calendar and
Where?
to follow a solar in the surah of the cave. In the cave, well, it's symbolic, right?
Yeah, we know the
So the story of the cave.
Okay,
Listen. The story of the cave is an allegorical story about time, right?
Also about Caucasians.
Who can? Okay,
Yes, sir.
Who can tell time the best? Who can tell time? That's what the underlining story is about. It's like a metaphor.
Well, only the
or
originator
allegory.
of the heavens and the earth, which is Allah Himself, is the best knower of.
Yeah, but it's our duty,
of time. We had to catch up to time because him he
Bro. But we follow time, right? Like
Correct,
you wake
we
up
do.
for Fajr, you wake up, you pray at,
but we do know that every couple years time is off. It's not exactly 24 hours in a day, and every couple years they got to add an extra day because
365 and a quarter,
right because of the offset of time not being 1,000% accurate down to
but in our physical reality, all that sounds like esoterically,
it's facts. It's not.
But our reality is that there is.
Esoteric is just symbology, Chief. We're not talking in symbols and signs right now.
Yeah, but you just said it's 12/21, and you're dropping it on 12/20. We have time that we're living on. We're living on a calendar system. You're waking up. You know what day it is.
I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about the fact. The fact of the matter is about the fact that it's an extra day every
because
4 years.
There's a tilt on the earth, and so like it there's a leap year, so every 4 years, like we're gonna have to catch up. So that's the best, like and that probably is just because the moon actually came into our orbit because there was a cataclysm with Jupiter and other planets that smashed, and that's how the asteroid belt was created. It's like a smashed planet, and the moon came into our orbit. You know what I'm saying? The moon wasn't always in our orbit.
The Holy Quran doesn't verify that, and from what we're taught in Nation of Islam, that the moon was created by basically a scientist that wanted everybody to speak the same dialect all over the planet and got frustrated in his brown germ, or what we took out of white people and placed in them in human form came up his ego, and he wanted to basically destroy the planet, which basically in this explosion and him implanting these explosives to the center of the earth created the moon, and all of the water that was on the moon when it separated from the planet dropped off back onto the planet. And this is partly why the moon controls the tide of this planet, because it's trying to draw back what it once. Hold on. What it once had, and then in the Surah, the moon, it starts off after in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, and the moon was rent asunder. Rent asunder means to break off. Into pieces or into one big piece.
It was.
So right there, Allah in the Holy Quran, Allah in the Holy Quran is stating that the moon was created by this breaking off.
Right. So you're agreeing with me that the moon wasn't always here, and the moon.
Correct. Correct.
So that's what creates that wobble.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what creates that extra, like quarter day, like where there's a leap.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Who's best at telling time? You never answered that question.
So the story of the cave was, they were asked, how many years have we been asleep? You know what I'm saying? And let me remember the thing, but basically let me paraphrase. So basically they were saying, Allah said, some say 309 years, but in Allah's counting, like it's that they were asleep for 300 years, but they say 309.
Okay.
Okay. They say 309.
This
This is in the cave. You could read this surah in the surah of the cave.
Which one is it? Which ayat is it? You know?
18. Cave is 18.
Cave is 18.
That's surah. What verse? Let me say it in English. What verse?
What verse? I'm not sure, but you could, if you give me the Quran, I could find it real quick.
There you go.
Yeah. So this is the cave.
But that also does correspond with the fact that Caucasians were roped and bound to the hills, caves and hillsides of Europe for a certain period of time.
Okay.
Until an outside force acted upon them, which we believe was Moses in the snake that Moses lifted up in the wilderness in the Bible was actually talking about them because they were trapped in the wilderness of the caves and hills of Europe and EU meaning
Here it goes.
Meaning caves and hills, and rope is the rope that bound them into those hills.
Okay, so I'm not negating that, but here's another interpretation that's plausible. So verse 22, some say they were 3, the fourth of them their dog, and others say 5, and
It's funny.
Man's best friend.
Man's best friend, man.
best friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. White man's best friend.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because God is our best friend. You got to turn it around. That's what dog is the opposite of God.
Well, listen. These are
Damn.
These
Continue.
these are young Christian, and this story is, mind you, is in a Christian religion too. Like, is in old Christian. They know about this story.
Oh, okay.
Where these young priests, these young monks, basically they hid out to be protected, and they prayed to be divinely protected, and they hid out in this cave, and God put them asleep. You know what I'm saying? For like years and years and years, and He woke them up, and they didn't know like how long they slept. So the allegory here is saying, okay, find out how long your Lord knows best how long you have tarried. Now send one of you with this silver coin of yours to the city, and let him see what food is purest, and bring him provision from it, and let him behave with gentleness, and not make your case known to anybody. So basically, take this coin and go from the cave. They woke up, they're like, oh man, we're hungry, like let's go get some food, like go check on the city and see what's going on. We don't even know what's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they got there, spent the coin, and the people got frightened. They're like, yo, these are old ancient coins, like from hundreds of years ago. And so they, without them wanting to be known, they got known. You see what I'm saying? So they were like fearful of their life, because God had put them to sleep apparently during a time where their lives were in danger for worshiping the one God. You know what I'm saying? So
but let's.
that's not the point, though.
No. I just want to say, let's go back to the realistic version of that. In reality, people can't go to sleep for 300 years without eating, without.
That's why I said it's an allegory.
Right,
so
right.
Let's just think objectively.
But that still that still goes to me is verification of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because they were put to sleep in the caves and the hills of Europe because they lost their language. They lost the ability to function as a human being. They went savage and beast.
Okay, so that's an interpretation, but
Mm-hmm.
now I'm bringing in something else that's within that story. So
Understood.
So, and their dog. Others say 5, 6, and the 6 of them being their dog, making conjectures about the unseen. And others say 7, and the 8th of them being their dog. Say, my Lord best knows their number. None knows them but a few. So contend not in the matter, but with an outward contention, and question not any of them concerning them. Right. So like, don't ask about their number, and mind you, like Arabs hate dogs and say dogs are unpure, but here they are, like, in the, anyway, and say not of anything, I will do that tomorrow unless Allah please, inshallah. And remember thy Lord when thou forgettest, and say, maybe my Lord will guide me to a nearer course to the right than this. And this is verse 25, and they remained in their cave 300 years, and they add 9. That's a key right there. Okay. So what's the difference between 300 years and 309 years?
9.
That's the difference mathematically. But what's the difference in calculations?
Well, if you do 9 minus 3 is you got 6.
So I wouldn't have
Or if
known
you do-
this if this is not my intelligence. I was told this.
Or if you do 30 minus 9, you got 21.
No. So the difference
Just connected
between
into the conversational piece that we were just on. But,
I get you, but
Because we're going back to that. We're going back to the Night of Majesty with this, right? Is that where we're?
we'll check this
Okay,
out.
go on,
This
go
is
on.
I'm going in proving the case that Muslims should be following a solar calendar. This is my only point, and the only context that we have, because the
shouldn't
Quran
be, you mean?
should know that we should be following the solar.
Oh, you said
calendar.
solar. Yeah. I got you.
The solar calendar, because this is a book of law and guidance and and jurisdiction and bylaws, and so and timekeeping and record keeping and all of that is I'm just proving the point that timekeeping and record keeping is now mandated on us to, you know what I'm saying, to calculate correctly, because they say, and they remain in their cave 300 years and they add 9, meaning not of Allah. Right? Allah's calculation is 300. That's clear, right?
Yes, sir.
From this. And they add 9. And it's even rare that you'll find in the Quran and where they say and they. You know, this is a rare translation. So it's good. It's more accurate translation. Say Allah knows best how long they remained. How long they remain. His is the unseen of the heavens and the earth, how clear his sight and his hearing. There is no guardian for, and it goes on and on. Right. But the difference between 300 years and 309 years is 300 solar years equals 309 lunar years.
Oh,
Ding, 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 ding.
there we go.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay, there you go.
So that proves emphatically
There you go.
that we follow our 300 years equals their
309.
309 years.
So what you're saying is that in
Yes, sir.
in solar years there are more months.
No, in solar years, it
would have to be more months.
There could be, yeah. I mean, Ethiopians have like the 13th month, 13-month calendar, 13 months of sunshine or whatever, like based on like a lunar calendar. There's 354 days in a lunar calendar, 365 days in a solar calendar.
There you go.
You see what I'm
There
saying?
you go. Okay, so it adds up.
Well, I mean,
It adds up over 300 years.
That's the calendar.
Oh yeah, it adds up.
adds up.
Over 300 years.
adds
It's
up.
going to be those 9, because every month, every year, Ramadan advances by 1 month. If this year is in June, next year it's going to be in July. Next year it's going to be in August.
It's been the same month.
Okay, by 11 days. Excuse me, by 11 days.
Right.
Okay, so 54 plus, the 354. The difference between 354 and 365, 11. Okay, so there's 11 days difference every year. It's going to go up by 11 days. Up by 11 days. Up by 11 days. So you will never get the same birth date of the actual Quran. You would never get that. Maybe every year.
Maybe you know the answer to this. Then is that same correlation in the lunar calendar? Because now we're transcribing the lunar calendar. Well, it couldn't be because it's still the same month over there, just a different, called something different in the,
They just start their year off. It's all off.
Right.
So you cannot build a high civilization
It starts somewhere in the
based off of a lunar calendar. My only point. If we're saying a mother civilization, which is the Quran, which is the people of the Quraysh, this was a mother civilization.
Well, they're not a mother.
Hold on, but the Quran says that this was the mother of all books. And this was
the people who have it, who it was given to, were the reason they were given the book is partly due to their stubbornness. It's partly due
that's
to the
hadith
fact,
that's telling you that. That's not the Quran that's telling you that.
No. Hadith is not telling me that. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is telling me that they are the type of people that won't change, that would kill if anybody would try to change the book.
Okay.
Which that is a mandate of death if you try to change the Holy Quran.
Okay.
Now, the only way the devil slid into Islam was through the Hadith. He couldn't change the Quran.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because it was so protected, and so many people are Hafiz that know it by heart. And which is different from Christianity. Nobody knows the Bible by heart. You know what I mean?
What the Ethiopian monks do.
Okay. The Ethiopian monks do, but it's not million. It's not 5, 10, 20 million people that know the Bible by heart.
Right.
You can easily massacre a few monks and get rid of them, but it's hard to get rid of the Holy Quran.
Right.
And that was and that was really a cultural thing with them. So. We are the mother civilization, the mother people, because out of the womb and out of the genetics of black people came everybody else.
Yeah, but I'm talking about this book that came in a certain time, and that's talking about certain stories and certain situations was in a certain time and space in our reality, just like Kemet was in its particular time and place, and all of these things are in their particular time and place. Kemet, we can say, is a mother civilization. We have historical document, we have architectural document, proof, we have geologic reference, we have linguistic reference, we have all of these things that show that these people actually exist. This is who they are, this is where their genetic makeup, this is where they bury their, you know what I'm saying? So now we cannot say that with early Meccan society, that it's a mother society, like a mother culture. Okay, so that you know what I'm saying, that was my point in saying that. I forgot what we were talking about to prove that point.
Kemet is us. You know what I mean? Even though Kemet, arguably to certain people, they would say the amazement of Kemet is really us in a sub complete fallen state. Before that was in our downward descension at that point of time, and that we had created way more advanced civilizations before than that had came and went. Before Kemet.
Yep.
But since it's so far advanced to what we see now, it looks, because I mean they found obelisks that they just abandoned, and they said, what was wrong with this obelisk? And they found they looked at it very closely, and they found that it was like 100th of an inch off in one place. And they said, well, maybe they abandoned this obelisk, that they cut out of pure limestone, out of a mountain, that they don't know how they did it, because it had a slight imperfection on it.
Maybe.
And damn near everything that you see, the way it's so mathematically precise, that they had a semblance of, they wanted everything to be perfect.
Facts.
Right. So if there's a correlation between the Nilotic people, the people out of the Nile Valley, and a correlation with the people that went into the Levant, that Middle East part, and founded like this early religion that we're calling Islam, which is you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like, if we're saying that these are the same people, then nowhere in Kemet were we following the moon.
Man, I don't see that. It was like you said, it was always solar references. Everything.
Solar. The moon was part of that. It's like looking at your watch.
Exclusive.
You have a second hand. It's like looking at the second hand to tell time. You cannot look at the moon to tell time. So it's imperfect. And Islam is perfect in its judgment. You know what I'm saying? So to understand.
Yes, sir.
Bro, like you can't. Nobody can argue. I bring me the grand sheikh of Mecca, bro. I will break him down with this, like with using, you know what I'm saying,
man.
like pure logic and facts, bro. My whole family is looking at me like I'm crazy, but nobody can argue me, bro. Like
I'm not.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah, bro.
You just can't.
I understand.
People are fasting 30 days on the lunar month, on the lunar calendar. How is that possible?
I commend you, because oftentimes we're taught in dogmatic religion that when you question it can kind of be looked at as hypocritical.
Yeah.
It can be looked at as combative, and that you're not a real believer. And that's the problem, because is nobody's questioning the holy. You're not questioning the Holy Quran. You're not questioning Allah.
No,
you're not,
I'm
you're
saying
not questioning
if
the
I
message of the
believe
Quran.
in
Right.
this Quran,
Right.
then
Right.
this Quran has to be 100% right. So I'm going to
Facts.
try to
Correct.
prove it wrong.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Correct, but you can't. You know what I'm saying? But you can prove it to be wrong that every year the revealing the day that they call the revealing of the Holy Quran, of the night of majesty, the night of power, it changes. I mean, that's a fact, and I hadn't even looked at it like that until you said that, and then I said, "Damn, that sound like Easter, bro."
Look,
that is Easter.
if
That is
nobody,
Easter, bro.
if nobody
That
was
is
in the
Easter.
world, all
Facts.
of a sudden the
Nah, that's
internet
right,
shut
man.
off. You didn't have no phone and no
Yeah.
apps telling you when to pray and all of this stuff. It's easy to know when to pray because it's when the sun come up. You know what I'm saying?
But right before the sun come up,
right
it's
before
fire.
right before the sun come up, you see that first light. Okay, you could visualize that. When the sun is directly over, you could visualize that. When the sun is setting, you could visualize that.
Yes.
Okay, when that star sets,
When
you
it's
can visualize that.
completely night,
But how will
right,
you
right.
know if you're just out and about? How will you know? Even if you're on top of Mount Kilimanjaro, you see all the stars in the world. How will you know if it's the month of Ramadan? You will not know, but you will know because Allah made it easy when the Sirius star, the brightest star in the night sky, sets below the horizon. It's noticeable. It's obvious.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Easy calibration,
I see
easy
it.
calculation.
Yes, sir.
And Allah made it easy and merciful on us because he lowered the sun on us so we can not only fast shorter days, but it's not as hot, mashallah. You see what
man.
I'm saying?
No, I do, man.
That's
No.
supreme mercy,
These are,
bro.
Yeah, these
Like-
are these are also mathematical proofs that you're providing right now. And and to be honest, I haven't really thought about it.
I know,
you know what I'm
like-
saying? Like I know, I didn't really. And to be frank, like lunar calendar. Okay, I was just like, okay, these are just things, but I
Yeah.
never. Islam is perfect and exact. To your point,
Perfect.
so you can't really
Even
be,
by the planet
Nah,
Earth.
you're right, bro. Yes, sir.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If we're
man.
saying the
Proven
planet
in no
Earth,
limited time.
Facts, man. No, he's right.
Proven in no limit of time.
Yeah, and he's
You
proved it.
Everybody that tried to prove,
No, you proved
I
it,
did
bro.
my job.
No, you did your job, bro.
everybody that tried to prove the Quran as being wrong and incorrect came back realizing that they were wrong and correct.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And they tried to focus on things that they didn't understand that the Holy Quran was saying as a way to illegitimize it as opposed to proving it wrong. Like certain things that it says about quote unquote slavery, like the Quran does not justify slavery. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and certain other parts of the Holy Quran, but they never been able to prove that it's wrong.
That's right, bro.
They see scientists know that, just like you said, that the rotation of the Earth is skewed. It's on a tilt. It's on a slant, right? And the Earth is oblong. It's not a perfect circle. And the mountains actually stabilize the planet and keep it in its orbit and work as weights. And the Holy Quran says that. At that time, nobody knew that. At that time, nobody knew that life started as a clock. Nobody knew this, or at least those who knew, right, were so secluded in secret schools trying to hide this information from a wicked people that it wasn't popular information and it wasn't knowledge that.
And that's what I think
that-
the Quran is.
that-
And it was hijacked to
What?
to be made a popular book that it's, you know what I'm saying? But
do you
I
mean?
think the Quran was a political document to like for a specific people to just be like, this is us and this is our thing. I don't, you know, the way I look at
You don't think it's a universal document?
I think it can be used as a universal document, but I think in its inception, it was for a specific people to navigate themselves and under the jurisdiction of Allah and in righteousness. You know what I'm saying? And it was obviously in even in opposition, early opposition to the Arabs, which it states in the Quran, the Arabs were the hypocrites.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Like, it caused so much dissension. But every messenger and prophet, what they were teaching from God, caused the conflict and was like a seed. It was only meant for a small group of people. And then eventually, if it was the will of Allah, it became the universal understanding came after that. I mean, it's the same thing with the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his tasksphere of the Holy Quran and the teachings of Allah, right? So it started off, the Nation of Islam started off as what people would perceive as a non-universal teachings, that the black man is potentially a god, right? But it was said that we were God, right? And that the white man was the devil. But yet Master Farad Muhammad's mother, like your mother, was white. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that it'll be it's like no, what do you say? It was some brothers talking hard about white people. He said, who's bad, who's worse, the potter
Or
the clay?
that's right.
So in him saying that anything grafted from the original is devil, and in him saying that accept your own and be yourself. So if anything that's grafted from the original is a devil, and you have to accept your own. So obviously you're not. You've been grafted or you've been changed from your original essence. So he was really saying that we're devils, because a nigga is a white supremacist in black skin that don't have to wear blackface because our faces are black. You know what I mean? We play a self-destructive role against ourselves inwardly as opposed to outwardly.
Yes, sir.
Right? So in him saying that, he was really universally saying that white folks had turned everybody into them. He grafted us out of our original mindset and made us devils, enemies of ourself and enemies of God, right? And that we had to accept our own and be ourselves by being retrained and retaught. And our potential was a God. Ye are God's children of the Most High God, the being the definite article, most being the characteristic that you can't get any more supreme or better than that. High stating that if it's the most supremely high, then, you know, you can't never get up there to the originator, but you are of the same essence of the originator, right? So the same thing with Islam from that the Arabs got. Same thing with Judaism. It was for that small group of early Hebrews. Same thing with Christianity. Jesus didn't teach. I don't think his largest crowd was like 20 people.
Right.
You know what I mean? So after he died, well, after he was murdered, is when it was spread. If it wasn't for Paul, you know what I mean, formerly known as Saul, I don't even think. Or I don't even believe it would have spread the way that it spread. So now we see all three of these have international and global appeal. Islam having the strongest and the fastest growing religion on the face of this planet. In my understanding, because it's in this essence and outside of human ignorance, it brings everybody under the same fold that take it on for what it purely is and not what other people are saying it is.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're at 2 hours and 30 minutes. You got any closing remarks, bro? But like, this is
No, man,
this has been a
I'm
it's a
good.
dissertation.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Man.
Yeah, man.
You know,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So I guess it's time to close out.
Let's
at
close
this
it
point.
out.
I mean, yeah, it was a beautiful conversation. I
Yes,
thank
sir.
you, brother, for all of your insight. And you
And
know
the proofs.
right. You know,
The proofs, bro.
making yourself known. But
Yes, sir.
before I wrap it up, I just wanna land that plane real fast. So a lot of people think that when we say that the white man is the devil, it's like a separate statement from us, as if we're so holy and we so righteous that we're separate from the white man, because he came out of us.
That's right.
He was produced out of us. So it's something in us that it may not be as magnified in us, but it's there. The potential of it is there. And it's just like a male and a female. The male is about 80 to 90% male and about 10 to 20% female, and vice versa. So it's the same thing with the inclination, or the inclining, or the orbit towards, or the orbiting around either righteousness or wickedness, and how that orbit can be knocked off course. That's why the Holy Quran says evil is a bad name after faith, and that we were taught that there were millions of Muslim sons or white Muslims who were our brothers in faith, and that if a person is under the fold of God, you can't. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, if a person is under the fold of God, you cannot call him a devil.
Yes, sir. Facts.
So, with that being said, I just wanted to clear that out.
Yes, sir. Close us out, bro. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Position of prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praise are due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Master of the day of judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, and thee alone do we beseech for aid. Guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed favors, not the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, or those who've gone astray after hearing thy teachings. By the time, surely man is at loss, except those who believe and do good, and exhort one another to truth, and exhort one another to patience. I bear witness there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is his messenger. Ameen.
Amen.
I mean.